welcome to the Model Talks. I'm your host, Charlene Radlin. On today's episode, we talk to Scott Camaran. Scott talks to us about his parents putting education first, despite being scouted at a local mall when he was young, the decisions he's made since then, and how his career took off right when he signed to a New York agency. Scott talks to us about what makes a good photographer. He also gives us insight on some of his favorite jobs and others that made him question being in this industry.
I was born in Long Island, but I moved around a lot. I lived in basically every borough, but before I came back to, I wasn't in the city. I lived in New Jersey, South Carolina, Georgia, and then I came back.
Explored a little bit, got outside your comfort zone.
Well, it was like the South and suburbs and stuff, and then I came back here to the city to pursue modeling and
How long ago was that?
I'd say I came back when I was 20, so...
How old are you now?
Oh,
are you allowed to say?
I probably should have started off with my age, but that was 3 years ago.
Okay, that's fine. You're still a baby. That's
Meanwhile,
good.
casting director's
right. No, not going to London. Right. Scratch those out.
Ooh, you're not 17.
Oh, do you ever find that in the industry where it's kind of they discriminate you for your age, or just oh, you're not 17 years old?
I think what's funny is that people really just don't know how old anyone is.
Right.
So it's when they ask the question, they're surprised regardless, you know? So I've seen 17-year-olds with full-on beards and whatnot. Whoa. And I barely grow any facial hair at all. So what ends up happening is that when I tell them I'm 23, they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever lied on set saying that you're younger for a client?
You know what? I thought about doing that. I have friends who have done that.
Okay.
And I can't do it just because I know that web of lie.
Okay.
We'll have to I'll have to carry that with every casting and whatnot. And I'm too blunt.
Okay.
So
this is great.
I like to be off the handle anyway. So for me to try and keep track of lies.
And then you don't know who knows who. So
exactly.
then the industry
but
starts.
I heard you were 19.
What? This one doesn't match up.
Exactly.
How is it when you get signed to an agency for a male model? I don't know anything about male world when it comes to modeling, so I'm very interested to see how this is.
Well, when I got signed, it was it was actually pretty interesting because there was no ambition for me to become a model.
Oh.
I had
Were you scouted?
Well, I was scouted a few times, when I was 16, and my father was not about it.
Really?
They were just they're semi-traditional, so it's very you can pursue business, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is a hobby.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was when I was scouted the first time, I was 16. It was one of those model search things at the mall.
Okay.
Which
I love these stories.
Hilarious.
I love these.
I was with my brother and I'm 16 and I'm just walking through the store and they're just excuse me, would you like to be a model? And I was I didn't even know what that really entailed or what that meant.
Right.
All I could think of was Colgate.
Right.
No, but
I
it was never really a thought. And then I got into fashion, just going
So did you win that competition at
well,
all?
what?
So wait, is it even a competition because you got scouted? So how does that work?
So let me backtrack. So
because first of all, you were I thought it was through Colwick, and now you're doing fashion.
Right.
What happened?
So what ends up happening is because I was underage, I had to give my parents contact information as my own.
Wow.
So.
Okay. How did they handle this? They were like, boy.
No, well, I remember being in the car and the modeling agency called my father.
Wow.
And he was just like, no.
Oh.
my son is not going to model.
My God.
Do not call this number again.
Mm-hmm.
Click. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, all right, well.
Good talk.
So no, that was a no. All right, cool. So yes,
Yeah.
So that was the end of that. But then like it got me thinking about the fashion industry. So I used to buy all of these like magazines and like GQ, V-Man, and V-Man back then was doing, I don't know if they still do it, but they were doing like the Ford model search.
Okay.
So I mean, I never like submitted myself, but I would always like check to see who was like, you know, just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, who are these models? Like
Right.
who's being submitted for it? And so that kind of like that was like the gateway.
Okay.
But ended up getting braces when I was like 17, which is really late.
Okay. And not really a model look either.
Right, not a model look at all. But then I went to like NYU for theater, so like that kind of helped like more into like being comfortable with, you know, just performing, like getting into character and whatnot. So
Getting a sense of yourself.
right.
Anything,
I think like things like that, like dance and acting and stuff, like it's a good way for you to get more comfortable with things like modeling.
Yeah. You kind of have a thick skin as well, if anything, because I feel like, I mean, I don't do dance, but I've seen like dance shows, and that's so intense where you kind of...
Yeah, because you only have one shot at doing it. Like
Right.
I always like, I talk to my friends who are doing like acting, and you know, I tell them like theater is so important because like you don't have several takes. Like you have one chance to do it right in front of all those people.
And it's kind of like how castings are.
Yeah,
when you go in, you have one chance to talk to a client, and that's it.
And like even if you mess up, it's like you have to make it seem as though you did it on purpose.
Right.
Like, you know, like, so it's actually really good with like, you know, just thinking on your feet, like that improv.
And you did that for how long?
I did it for a few years. I did it in high school, and then a little bit afterwards, but didn't really pursue it after that. I kind of like, I didn't really know what I was gonna do after high school.
Okay.
I went to school for business, and then I was working at a store in Soho, and I just remember the clients used to come in, and you know, Soho is it's New York.
Right.
And then Soho in general is just like a hub for so many fashion people. So I remember photographers would literally just be like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh, wow.
And I'd be like, "I don't know what you mean. Why are you saying this to me? What did I do wrong?" And they're just like, "You're a model, right?" And I'm like, "No." And then they were like, "No, you're a model."
Right.
Like,
honey.
Right. No, let me tell you. So yeah, that was basically like after hearing that so many times, it was like,
you know what?
I was clearly being pushed in that direction.
Right.
And I mean, I had done some shoots before, but like just because, hey, you know, I'm a photographer or like
a friend,
friends,
or,
right. But it got to a point where people were like working for Vogue and like wanted to take my photos and submit it to.
Did you ever think
agencies.
about being a freelance model, or did you want to be signed?
Honestly, like I wasn't even, I mean, like I had tried to be signed before.
Okay.
I ended up getting signed, and what ended up happening was, I guess either timing wasn't right, or like I wasn't submitting my photos or anything. It was another photographer. He was like sending me out.
Okay.
But I had like 5 photos, literally.
Wow.
And like, you know, I was seeing these agencies, and they were all like top agencies, and they would see me and they'd be like, "How long have you been doing this?" I was like, "My first photo shoot was last week." And they were like, "Huh. Okay."
Did that discourage them at all?
No, they were just like, "You need to shoot some more. Like, you need to get like more, you know, there's not enough for us to go off of to like."
So they didn't want to actually sign you until you had that experience.
Right. So like they kept me in like the circle or whatever, but like it wasn't like.
So then how long until you actually got signed?
Well, I ended up stopping for like a full year.
Oh.
Just like stop like doing shoots and everything. And what happened? Oh, right. How did this happen? No, so on Facebook, one of my friends reached out to me to model for this editorial.
Okay.
And they were using models from Major. And what ended up happening was she submitted those photos to Major, and Major, like, I basically set up a meeting with them.
That's amazing.
And then that was it.
They're like, okay, yeah, you need to do this with us.
Well, it was funny because when I got into the office, like, I had been in the office before. Like, I had already met people there, and, like, it was a similar conversation of, like, okay, well, we'll meet again. And, like, but this time around, like, I sat down and I actually had photos with me. And they were going through it. And, like, you know, the director of the men's board, she brings the other bookers in. And she was like, all right, well, this could be the front of the comp card, and this could be the back. And then she looked up at me and she was like, oh, yeah, you're signed. I was like, okay, cool. I like it.
I love that.
Right.
So
So that's how that
awesome.
happened. Like, I just remember that day. I was just so happy. Like, it was so funny because, like, it was just like, I did, you know, feel a little discouraged before, you know, like, because I was just like, you know, like, if it happens, it happens. But like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna put my heart into it. But like, you know, when you start hearing so many people saying like, you're a model, you should be doing this, it gets discouraging when you don't have that sense of achievement, you know.
Well, I mean, you got signed in the most like nonchalant way of, oh, by the way, you're signed. Just so you know.
That was the fun, because I was also trying to like be calm and cool
of course,
and play
you know,
it like
whatever.
model. You're like, yeah, all right, cool.
All right, you know, whatever. Meanwhile,
No, but
inside,
like,
you're like,
right? No, I was ready to like jump up out of my seat. It was so funny.
did your career kind of take off from that? I mean, how does, okay,
Well,
yes, tell me. That laugh though.
Hold on.
Okay,
For
sips
that
tea.
one.
Sips tea.
Right.
You know, like when I think of males in the industry, it's like, how hard is it?
Well, what ends up happening is that I feel like I had come into the industry it was 2015. So I don't know if you remember, but that was like the era when social media was just now getting to a point where it was like very relevant.
Okay.
You know? Like there was articles coming out like where you had to have 10,000 followers. All of the castings that I was going to, I mean, I was going to huge clients like in my first week being signed.
Really?
Yeah. And like my first editorial was with Nylon magazine. Like it was just like, it was so quick, but I wasn't developed enough for that. One, like I wasn't like, you know, I could play model like at that point, but it wasn't like I wasn't it yet. They hadn't even seen my walk, and it was like right before Fashion Week. I was just like,
they just believed in you.
They were just
all.
like,
here we go, honey, go, yes,
fly.
Come on, little birdie,
right.
Spread your wings.
Right. So I was like a little unprepared, in terms of just like industry knowledge and like me as a model, and I had 300 followers on my Instagram at that time.
You take those 300 followers. Yes,
you run
honey.
with that. No, so like, and like the photos that I had, I think they were just like me and my dog and like just like such like casual things. And I would go to these castings where you literally are next to people like super like I was like, because it was such high end clients that were requesting me, and of course like when you're a new face, they're like, who's this? Like, where did you all of a sudden pop up out of, and like you're in the men's package for Fashion Week, and like, you know, so like, you know, there was a lot of curiosity when I first got started, and I think
you can kind of use that to your advantage though, like,
yeah, but I don't think I had the confidence like to back up my photos either. You know, like because I think about it now, and it's like I remember at least they critiqued. You know, like a lot of the times nowadays they don't critique. They'll just like, they'll be like if they don't like your walk, they won't tell you.
Right.
Like when I was going to like the big brands, they would like tell me like, hey, like shoulders back or like stronger walk or you know like
They're trying to tweak you a
stronger,
little bit, help you out,
exactly,
help you out a little bit.
Because I had no idea what I was doing at all.
Right.
So yeah, so that was my first season. I mean, like I was in a lot of editorials, but it was definitely a slow start to me.
Right.
You know, like because
but it was a growing experience too for
it
you.
definitely
You know,
was.
you kind of like you learn every
you
casting
learn so much
and at a fast rate.
Right.
Because I mean, now you're being shoved into all these like.
I remember I was telling my mom, I was like, my first my first day actually being signed, I had 3 castings.
Wow.
Which was insane to me because I was like, how? Who wants to see me?
Right.
So, no, but I remember one day, like I was like, Mom, it's Sunday and I have 12 castings.
Wow. Oh my God.
And like, she was just like, that was another thing. Like my mom really didn't
understand the world, if anything, or?
Well, it was like, she didn't understand the world, but she also didn't like see that for me, you know, like me being a model or anything like that.
Because your parents really wanted you to be kind of like a business person. How
Right.
did your father handle you being like signed and going to these castings now and doing this? It's like, was
Honestly,
he able? Okay.
He still thinks it's a joke. Well, not a joke, but like he doesn't take it seriously.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's not something that he's not about the arts or anything, and I've always been about the arts. And my mom has always been about the arts as well.
Okay.
So
she's definitely
she's more supportive
and the encourager.
Right, but she also still wants me to have the business side because she wants every parent wants like that level of stability. They don't want you to be worrying. They don't want it to be a gamble or anything like that. So I think with my dad, it's more like there's a sense of pride, you know, but not in the way where it's like my son's like us, you know.
So you can't really like boast about, if anything, you know, oh, he's done because
He's like one of those private, like he'll like if he does boast about me, I hear about it from like someone else. He's like, oh yeah, your dad was talking about you. What?
Wow. Okay.
Does he talks about me? Oh,
right. Yeah.
Like that kind of thing, you know, and I don't know if that's just, you know,
is it a little hurtful for you a little bit, you know, or have you just kind of grown to like understand?
Like I think as a kid it was because like you search for that kind of approval for so long.
Do you have siblings at all?
Yeah, I have. See,
that's
that
okay.
cough.
Yeah.
We spoke about this.
We did. Take that sip of water.
I have, well, how do I? My father has children. I am my mother's only child, and then I have an adopted brother.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love that. And are they all in business, and you aren't the only one?
My brother's a financial analyst for a software company.
Okay. Fancy titles. Okay.
So he also is along the same lines as my father in terms of like
not very creative.
Well, he's not creative, but like he understands that like my need to be in the arts, but he'd prefer for me to be like working in a company. Okay. You know,
have that stability.
Right.
Stability is
Whereas
a huge
like,
thing.
oh yeah, stability is like especially with my father and my brother, they're very, you know, logistics and like they're very stable people, which is good, but it makes for a very boxed in like lifestyle. Right. You know, like go to school, get a job, get a car.
Cookie cutter in that way. You know, and your mom kind of understands everything about.
Right, but also she's the other extreme.
Okay. Okay. How so?
She's the type of person where it's just like, I don't care. I'm not gonna get a job. I will do what I want to do, and if you don't have if you have a problem with that, you know, that's your problem.
Well, I kind of like that attitude.
No, which is awesome. I mean, but that's why I get along with her. Right. You know, it's you have to have both. Okay. Though. Like to me, I think like especially with modeling, like you have to have the business aspect and the art aspect of
When
it.
you say now about Instagram kind of taking over, I mean, social media in general, do you kind of view it more that you have to be a business person versus just kind of relying on your bookers to do everything for you?
I think it's definitely, it's an interesting thing, the way the modeling industry has like developed into more social media. I don't want to say dependent, but it is kind of. You know, I've met with casting directors where they're just like, I want to see the model's Instagram to see their personality. And I'm like, I'm in front of you. You don't see my personality?
Right. It's a little upsetting.
It's not upsetting. It's just like, it throws me off.
Okay.
You know, because it's just like when I think of social media, my instinct isn't to let me take a selfie of my life and like be happy and like have a full on conversation with Snapchat.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
like my personality is like if there's a living person next to me, I'm going to be personable with them. Whereas like my social media now, it's become such a business feature that I just mostly use it for modeling. You know, like I
like an extension of your portfolio, if anything.
Exactly. That's exactly what I use it for, because it's just like at a certain point in time there was, like I said, when I started, I only had like 300 followers. So I had to find a way that was like, I didn't want to just be a model if I were to get followers, to be a model that was just like, oh, you just have a bunch of 13-year-olds from Korea following you.
Okay.
Like, you know, like I wanted people who are fashion relevant.
Okay.
You know, like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it like a business, you know,
and authentically,
right?
you know?
Exactly.
That's the
like
biggest thing.
you know, I have this, I'm using this for modeling. This is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I do.
Right.
You know,
do you ever encounter where, so sometimes I'll have this encounter where it's like, I'll go in and maybe a girl that has 25,000 or 30,000 followers may, you know, book the job versus, you know, I will have my followers and they're kind of like, okay, you know, like that's cute. And it's like, do you ever have?
That's so nice, sweetie.
Right.
Keep working at it. Like,
yay.
yeah,
You know?
right.
Do you have that encounter as well? Has it ever happened to you?
Well, I think with male models, it's more like, I don't know. It's hot and cold.
Okay.
Because certain brands will only go after models that have a high following. So I probably won't even get that casting.
Really?
You know?
Okay. And it is so much smaller because I feel like the males division, there's not as many as like the women's division. They'll have maybe, let's just say, 100 girls signed to an agency. Maybe they'll be, it's a lot smaller, maybe like 25 or 30.
And like, yeah, I agree with that. To be honest, it's very, it's more niche market in terms of male modeling. I think what ends up happening is that because social media or like Instagram models are actually booking more model jobs.
Okay.
It's becoming more of like, it's taking up more of the modeling industry than actual signed models.
How does that make you feel? Do you think you can kind of get out of being?
Well, honestly, that's what I'm trying to do, because that's why I keep my Instagram the way it is.
Okay.
You know, like I do want to integrate some more personal aspects of myself and like, you know, show some more personality, but you know, I want people to respect what I do. You know, I'm not a kid. You know, like I can't afford to just waste time with a career that's not going to give back.
Right.
You know? So I think I'm just trying to show people that like I'm the real deal. Like I'm not like an Instagram model. I'm not doing this for any hype or fame or, you know, or following anyone's standards or rules or examples. Like this is my brand. Like I am my brand. You know, at the end of the day, me modeling or outside of modeling.
And who are you? When you go into a casting, how do you differentiate yourself when you go into a casting? What do you do that makes you stand out?
I think I try to just be as like me as possible in terms of like, I'm not coming in with like, hey guys, I'm a model.
Okay.
Like I'm not, that's not my intentions. You know, like it's not to sell, like I'm a model. My portfolio shows that I'm a model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to show that like you can work with me. You know, you can take me to any project, any character, any set, any crew, and I'm going to mesh with them. I'm going to be able to just, you know, work with the idea, work with the vision, work with, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of models, they come in with a lot of ego.
Oof. Do you think that is more as even male models, kind of like I'm pretty and
I think what it is because it's joined with, I mean, guys are gonna have ego anyway.
Okay.
But
fair.
Right. And then if
Do you think it's heightened though? Because
it's heightened because they're a model, but it's heightened even more because of social media. So like you get more followers and like you get comments, oh you're so hot, you're so beautiful, and you start booking stuff because of that kind of hype. Your ego's gonna be through the roof. Whereas I'm not approaching it from an ego sense. I'm approaching it from like, you know, I want to create art with you. Like what project can we do together?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a collaboration to me, like not about, all right, I'm here, take my photo. All right.
which is so
We're done.
important. That's so important to not be a diva on set.
Right.
It's very much
right.
like.
And then it's like to a degree, it's like know your worth. You know, bring quality to the table. Never
But humble
compromise. But right.
Humble
you
the
know,
experience.
understand that these people are not just there to serve you. And then also it's like you never know who is who or who will be where when, you know, or like who they know. Like I can't even begin to tell you how many people it's just like I bump into or have casual conversations with. Like example, me just being a model.
Okay.
My whole career is based off of just like people that I know who have pushed me, or people that I don't know who
Right.
have just pushed me. So I have so much respect and so much, I don't know, like I don't have as much ego when it comes to.
Which is great,
to
and you
other
need
people.
you need to have
You
that
know?
because I think it's like one of the biggest things, a
Yeah.
turn off. Even when you meet someone in general, it's like you don't want someone who's just
Right.
like their head is up in the clouds. You know, it's like
Because-
bring it back down, honey.
Right. I think what it is that like there's a certain point where it just seems like everything's given to certain models and they get lost in that. And I'm just like, you know, if only you knew that there are people out there that you would overlook because of your ego that can like help you, like in any sense of the form. Like it doesn't have to be monetarily or, you know, through business or like, oh, book me for your next campaign. But
Right.
like I have lifelong friends that like, you know,
Yeah.
just through being me and being honest and like not trying to.
So, what advice would you give a person coming into the modeling industry as a male? Oops, Siri wanted to answer.
She's like, I don't understand your question.
Coming into the modeling industry as a male, because I can talk about females all day long. I can't advise a male just because I haven't experienced it.
Right. Just know you. You know who you are going in. Because they're gonna try and like, you know, it's good for the agency to market and brand you, but you don't want to get lost in a sea of other people who are also tall, skinny, and pretty. You know, like know your brand. Like know what you're coming in as. You know, like I know some guys who are just like they're true to themselves all the way. Like the rugged, like artists, you know, music types that are just like they bring that with them through every job. And I like that. You know, like I don't want anyone to look at my body of work at any point in time. You know, and just be like, wow, you were all over the place, like, and then you kind of like, you know, slip through the cracks because you were just like another model in the sea of models, you know, because it's easy for you to do that. It's easy for you to get lost on a board. It's easy for you to like not shine through your photos, because every time when you get in the industry, you know, you have test shoots and whatnot. So it's like, it's gonna be similar photos as everyone else. It's gonna be similar. It's a similar process
Right.
to start.
Right.
for everyone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get lost in that, like, I've seen a dozen of these. You know, I've actually had a casting director tell me, she was like, you're the first model who didn't do the same poses when I was taking the photos.
Oh, amazing.
And I was the last model
Wow.
for the casting.
And you could have done every other
Right.
move that everyone else has done.
Right.
Because you've seen them all
Right.
the entire
'Cause
time.
it's the same. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
like, we all know those looks because,
standard.
like, when you Google, that's why, like, there's not as much known about male models, because we don't bring much to the table.
Do you think also like your dance background kind of
Oh
helps
yeah,
too,
that definitely
you
helps.
know?
Like, I will say, like, a lot of people, even when they see, like, me in editorials and, like, the way that I move, people are like, you were a dancer before, right? Just because a lot of models don't realize that your limbs are connected to your face.
Right.
So it all
So
has
male
to,
models, get into dance class.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
What has
that's-
been your favorite photo shoot thus far?
So there's a couple, but the one that pops up in my head is this one by, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. No, she's a friend of mine too.
Oh,
so.
girl.
No,
We'll have to
because
talk
I
about
never.
our friendship after this.
Right. She's gonna text me. Hey, so your interview. Sarah.
Sorry, boo.
Right. Sarah Kajelarin. She did a portrait of me. I just went by her house, and I've known her for a few years. She does amazing work. She's done things for Women's Wear Daily, Nylon, everything. But we had never really shot before. I've always just, like, I see her at events, like, we have mutual
Okay.
friends and whatnot.
Nice.
And I just came over, and she did a portrait of me, and then a small, like, little, like, portrait video.
Okay.
And it was beautiful. It was like
What
she
made
had
it so beautiful?
the portrait. It was just one shot, and it was just like she captured me in a way that, like, no one ever has before, like, in an honest way, like an honest portrait.
Okay.
You know, no posing, no expressions, no. It was just like, it was like
It's
purely
just
me,
you.
right? And I never see that, and I thought that was
Ah.
so cool, because I was just like, I never get to see me, you know?
Do you think that makes a better photographer for you when you are able, you know, when they're able to capture the essence of who you are versus?
I think that's like, that makes the photographer. If you're, I feel like capturing a moment is beautiful, but, like, if you're able to capture the person, you know what I mean? Because, like, when you think about, like, actors and stuff, and they have, like, their profiles, and or if you Google their name, or if they get an award or something like that, the photos that they use usually is that, like, or, like, for Time magazine,
Okay.
for example.
Right.
That's the kind of photo she took of me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
those portraits that are like,
They're very impactful.
right. It's like it's the photo of you.
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
that's what people are going to use to reference who you are.
How does she kind of get into that? I mean, because I'm sure, like you've said, you've
Yeah.
done a lot of photo shoots, you've met a lot of clients. It's like, overall, what makes an amazing photographer for you? When you come in, from the moment that you come in, from the moment that you're in front of the camera, like, what is it that when you look at, or you come on set, you're
Right.
just like, I know that this photographer knows what he's doing,
Well, there's a certain sense
or
of
she's doing.
there's a certain sense of chemistry, I think, when it comes to not just, like, between the person, but also, like, the way that they move in relations to you.
Okay.
Like, when there's a rhythm and there's, like, we were talking about dance, it's a partnership, you know? When I move, they move, and, like, they go with the angles, they go with the light, they step back, they look. Like, there's a certain sense of, like, artistry
Okay.
to it, you know? Not just,
And you
okay,
look
turn
at
to the, thanks. Like,
And they
you
take
know?
like 1,000 photos.
Right, and of the same thing.
Right.
All not good. No, but, like, she did that, and, you know, and you could tell she was looking for that moment, and, like, I thought that was so it was like when I got the photo back, like I mean, some people didn't like my mom was like, it's so plain. I was just like, it's like it's me, right? I was like, you don't understand. Like I'm always a character, you know, in all of my photos. Like I mean, although those still are part of me, like they're not all me.
What's the most outrageous photo shoot you've ever done that you were like, what am I doing? I need to question my career in modeling.
God.
What did I get myself into?
What's the last one that I did? Because now I got to think about that one. Well, it's never been released before.
Okay.
But I will say,
okay.
Right. This was my first modeling job. It was for MAC Cosmetics.
MAC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What'd they do to your face?
They didn't do anything to my face. It was more like what I was wearing. Like I had like a pink, like, no, it wasn't pink, it was purple. It was like a purple bob, like wig.
Okay.
Like real synthetic. Like didn't even look.
Yeah, not even trying to
Not even trying to look like dyed real hair. Like just straight up.
Party City.
Right.
Like.
Sesame Street. Like you look like. So, and then I had like all these like different shapes and stuff on me. I looked like a kid's game or some sort of character.
What do you mean shapes on you?
Like it was like squares and circles and like actual cutouts of like glittery.
A box or
like as in like cut and paste. Like you know arts and crafts. Like you know, like color paper. Like when you cut things out and you just you
like
glue
on
it.
your body.
Right. That was my first modeling job. You want to talk about questioning your career, knowing your brand? I was just like, well, this wasn't
wake up call.
This wasn't in the magazines that I was reading before. Okay, cool. All right, well.
Like the reference
at least they're paying me well.
It's just like nothing.
Right, I was just this. Oh, they. Maybe my dad was right.
Daddy, can you know about this?
Right. Oh my God! If you had seen that, oh my God, it was so funny.
Oh my.
Like goodness. It was space. It was space age. Like I'm trying to think of a show. To be honest, there has to be a show out there. I will text you the image once I think of it.
Please do.
But yeah, like it was. That was definitely the craziest, and it was my first job as a model.
We all come a long way, honey. We all come a long way. Start from the bottom, now we're here.
Right. Just a little bit higher from the bottom. Just not
we're getting there.
Right,
Okay?
we're getting there. I don't have to put on wigs anymore.
Right,
but
exactly. It's about progress.
Let's not jinx that because next thing you know.
There we go. You're gonna wear like a full body wig or something.
Right. Oh, my mom thought I had like a full on, like I was doing drag.
Oh.
Because she heard I did MAC Cosmetics. She was like, she's like, what? I was like, no, it's not like that. Even better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, well, to kind of sum everything up, what note would you like to leave it on as far as, you know, anything last words you'd like to say to anyone out there getting into the modeling industry, their past, the future, whatever it is?
I would say like it's the same thing as like pretty much my advice to models coming in. It's just stay true to you. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's Instagram, Snapchat, it's all, those things can fade out, just like MySpace, Tumblr, and Vine have. Like, and there's been people who are famous on all of those platforms. Mm-hmm. Don't get lost in the hype. It's not about ego at the end of it. You know, like it's about, if you want to do this, do it. You know, don't.
And that's it.
Right.
Just do it because you want to.
Right. You know, there's not enough time in the world for you to waste time just because it's like, oh yeah, well, because it's cool, or I'll have a lot of followers.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, Scott. And great
you.
chatting with you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we'll have a good day. That's it on the Model Talks. Bye.